but I forgot to put it in there. Melissa Ford has just ended, or is ending, the first season of the Hot and Bothered podcast, and people are chattering, or there will be chatter, that it's a failure and that it flopped. Now, what I want to get on here real quick, because I told y'all it was going to be one video a day, 10 minutes, but I want to give y'all just a topic video because I think that's kind of how I want to do it. And I'm going to get back off and I'll see y'all tomorrow. So, the thing about this Melissa Ford, let me turn my Bluetooth off. Let's just make sure. Sorry. Okay. If you couldn't hear me, you should be able to hear me now. The thing about this whole Melissa Ford podcast and how it went, I am gonna say that it is sort of karma because of how she allegedly snaked the girl that was actually gonna be the co-host. So if you don't remember Melissa Ford from the Joe Budden podcast, I'm a Joe Budden fan. I'm in that universe. I listen to Rory and Maul, so you are going to be getting videos about anything that happens with that, all of that. So they say we're going to do a podcast called the Menopod, and it was initially supposed to be with a person named A from who was friends with Melissa Ford. And I did not take Danny's video. I seen the video. I listened to 2 seconds of it. I said, no, 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 no. I gotta go live because I don't want to have to wait till tomorrow. I already done watched this video. We ain't doing all that. So long story short, she's supposed to have a podcast. She started doing episodes called the Menopod. It doesn't work out because allegedly Melissa Ford snaked said co-host A and was trying to get the lion's share of the ownership. I'm not too sure of what happened. So, if y'all don't remember, there was a Joe Budden podcast episode where Joe basically said, yo, if I'm the more lit dude, if I'm the more lit person, yeah, you don't own it. I get it. If I got the money, if I'm this and that, it's not gonna work out. And that's what I wanted to hop back on live to talk about. Because I understand that. I understand that's just how it works in the majority of cases when it comes to business. No matter if you like the person, no matter who's the better person, the person with the leverage as far as notoriety, the person with the leverage as far as the money, if you're in another business venture, is going to be the person usually that has the pull. Well, in this day and age, when it comes to podcasting, bro, the fans, we don't care about who has the pool. We don't care about who paid for the setup. We don't care about who's paying everybody. Excuse me. We don't care about who's paying everybody. We like to say we do, but as long as it's a good product, that's straight. If the product isn't good, if your name or your likeness is that you're not a good podcaster, that's the first thing you probably should do if you're not somebody like me who's podcasting from the crib, recording with the phone. Melissa Ford's on a top-notch podcast. So the cachet and the level that she's at is already going to be up here. So for her to do bad business when you were going to do the pod with your friend and you didn't necessarily have to do bad business because you already have your foot in the door, no matter if we think she's a good podcaster or not. I think she shot herself in the foot. I think she shot herself in the foot. I ain't gonna lie to you. I haven't listened to none of that shit. Like none of the pods. I can't even tell you how many episodes it was. It can't be that much. It can't be over 10 because this was only a couple months ago. And if it is over 10, it definitely ain't over 20. But the thing is, though, like, when it comes, like, that'd be the thing when it comes to business. Like, I understand it, and, we accept things like this because we, as people, because I got a regular job. People that have regular jobs, you accept getting screwed over, so you understand it. But when it comes to something like podcasting, when it comes to somebody, when you're dealing with a person that knows how to articulate themselves, they know how to use the internet, screwing somebody over, especially in a certain type of way, especially having a smug vibe, and then you lightweight stole the name from the two white people that do the Hot and Bothered podcast. It just didn't start off as a good vibe. And I've talked about the reason why I'm talking about this is because I've spoken about Mel Ford's podcasting presence on the Joe Budden podcast. If she was holding it down, holding it back per se, and I wanted to amend that because the more you listen, the more certain things come out, certain opinions and narratives are being pushed. Joe, he's great at having the illusion of having some transparency and giving a look behind the curtain, if you'd like to say that, by basically saying like Mel, not saying it, but basically saying it, or the coat the cast saying it. Mel Ford acts like that and pause like that because that's what she get paid to do. That's my assumption. Because from how they speak about her on a personal level, like, oh, she cool outside the pod, and just looking at how she's been in the industry, and industry dominated by men, it's no way she could be one of them weird chicks. It's no way she could be like that and still be well liked, well known, and positioned well in the industry 20 years later. As far as her pod goes, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. It's gonna be hard for. I do think this is the end, and I don't just think that because Danny from the Stop said it. Just looking at the tweet, bringing up a book club, it's like, oh, your studio's being built. And it's possible it could, she could come back, but I do think that with how things turned out, just looking at the reviews of the pod, of course I've seen clips. Oh no, man, I don't know. She might need a co-host. She might need a co-host, and I just, when it comes to business, bro, I think there are certain aspects, and this is a person that's not a businessman, but I just think sometimes it's better not to quote unquote screw over your family, friends, just so you can do good business, because this is not someone that you're just going to be seeing on on a business perspective from a day to day. You know what I'm saying? This is somebody that knows you. This is somebody that you're probably going to be seeing later in life. It's possible, even if y'all fall out, you'll run into them because they may probably know somebody they probably still close with somebody you close with. Especially when you don't have to, because the way you treat people, I understand. Oh, you ain't got a name, you ain't this, that, and the third. Yeah, she doesn't have a name, but we live in a culture where people like me, they can make their bones by interviewing your homegirl. And just because we don't have a following, your homegirl don't have a following, don't mean that the person that's interviewing them, whoever's editing the pod, don't know how to work the internet and make the good titles and the thumbnails so that whatever she says can get some type of traction. We just don't live in that age unless you're talking about some stuff that can lose people, like organizations money. But people gonna be able to see when somebody's exposing you. So as far as a podcast perspective, because her doing that, she had to switch so many things up, and I think she couldn't even use the name. And now you still got a pod after that. I don't know, man. I don't think that was the best. I don't think that was the best deal. You know, um, we're not Joe. A lot of people is not Joe Budden. A lot of people are not Joe Budden. A lot of people cannot sit there and podcast to empty chairs and it be compelling content. So, it's, I don't know, man. Like, I, you know, I've been in situations where I've been screwed over, and it's like, oh shit, we thought we wasn't getting nothing for this, and It's not that we wasn't getting nothing. It's that this nigga didn't tell us, oh, this, that, and the third, and he about to get everything. And I'm not even gonna lie to you. I can't even tell you exactly what that shit was because I took it out of my brain. But I always kept that. And it was a situation where it was like we was doing some type of business, or we was actually like from what I understood. Not the person that actually set up this. We was helping somebody. We was supposed to be helping somebody or something like that. But it was actually some business involved, and we just didn't get paid for it. And I remember confronting the person, and it was like the person got annoyed with me that I didn't understand what was going on. And now, as an adult, I get it now because it's like, bro, you didn't know you didn't know somebody was getting paid for this. How didn't you know somebody was getting paid for this? Don't get mad at me. And I'm not, of course, you're not right when you say things like that. But this is how people in business, this is how they're gonna explain it to you. Oh, you should have been on your shit so that I couldn't have screwed you over. Because who's not gonna screw you over in business if you let them? That's just how these things go. But people they fail to understand, once they're up and they live in a life that they want to live, they don't realize that, bro, you can't say that to people. A lot of people nowadays, especially when it comes to content, what I'm saying, especially when you're trying to sell them something. So I think, and I just don't think the podcast was good enough for her to shit on the people like that before the podcast started, and then you don't deliver. So what's next for Mel Ford? More thirst traps, probably. But they, she's gonna have to find a co-host. She's gonna have to find a co-host that's gonna be more willing to open up about certain things that Mel maybe not want to talk about because she don't want to be looked at in a certain light. But it's gonna take a lot. I believe so.